Tonight on KGW News, protecting kids from tobacco.
I want them to stop poisoning our kids, stop marketing to them.
The products Multnomah County is looking to ban. Plus, why is Oregon seeing such a shortage in public defenders?
Because the work is so hard, because the work is underpaid.
Attorneys lay out the challenges as an Oregon congresswoman pushes for a funding fix. And later, snow made travel tricky over the mountain, but it was worth it for these skiers and boarders.
Absolutely stellar conditions right now.
Today's an all-time day, man.
Your news starts now. Good evening on this Monday night. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. A big debate is playing out in Multnomah County over tobacco products, specifically those that are flavored and often more appealing to kids. The public got to weigh in tonight on a proposal to ban them. Christelle Kumwe was at the public hearing tonight, and Christelle, dozens showed up.
Yes, Laurel, Multnomah County commissioners heard testimony from more than 80 people. Those in favor of the ban say flavored nicotine products are dangerous for everyone, especially teens. Those against the proposal say it will have an unfair economic impact on small businesses.
It was a packed house Monday night at the Multnomah County building.
To urge you to take action to end the sale of flavored tobacco products.
I am here today to oppose the total tobacco flavor ban.
Dozens made their voices heard at a public hearing on the county's proposed ban on the sale of flavored tobacco and nicotine products. That would include e-cigarettes and vapes.
Well, we know these are deadly products, and they're marketed in a way by the tobacco industry to hook kids on a lifetime of addiction, including menthol.
Ruth Atkins, along with others from the Flavors Hook Oregon Kids Coalition, came here in support of the ban. They say for too long, the tobacco industry has targeted youth, especially kids of color.
The fastest growing populations in the state of Oregon and the city of Portland are kids of color.
And Marcus C. Mundy says it's time to protect these kids.
I would tell Multnomah County, if they care about the kids in Multnomah County, they will vote to ban the flavored and menthol tobacco products.
But opponents of the ban say not so fast.
I have been selling tobacco in Multnomah County for 18 years. This is my passion and my livelihood.
Brian Grimm owns a tobacco shop. He argues the ban will create a black market for these products and just hurt small businesses.
I have 3 families that work for me. They've all worked for me over a decade. They'd probably lose their livelihood, and I would definitely have to probably close shop.
We believe there's a better plan than a one county ban, which will force adult consumers to take their business across county lines.
Multnomah County isn't the only one making this move. Last year, Washington County voted to ban the sale of flavored tobacco. In September, a circuit judge overturned the ban, but the county is appealing. In Multnomah County, supporters are unfazed.
And we're confident that the judge's ruling will be overturned in time, and the Multnomah County is on firm legal standing to proceed with their own policy.
And opponents are vowing to take on the policy.
If this passes in its current form, we will fight this vigorously as well.
Multnomah County commissioners could vote on the proposal when they take it up again this Thursday morning. People can still submit comments online. Laurel?
Thank you, Christelle. Tonight, we're also keeping a close eye on the weather. It's getting really cold out there. Matt joins us now. Matt, with the rain earlier today, are we concerned about slick roads out there?
There's already ice out there. I mean, I saw ice on puddles in downtown Portland. I saw ice on some other surfaces up in the hills. So, yeah, it's cold. We're at 34 in downtown now, and it doesn't need to get to 32 to get ice on surfaces because you get a heat flux below where we measure the temperature, and it can actually be cold enough for ice, and that's happening. Yet it's already in the 20s in some spots, like in Hillsborough, 27, down below freezing at Scappoose at 30, Vancouver's at 32, 33 Aurora, 29 in McMinnville. So it is absolutely cold enough to have icy spots out there tonight. And of course, with the rain that we had earlier, some of the roads and surfaces are still wet. So just be careful. The roads aren't terrible. They're not like glazed with ice everywhere, but there may be patches on roads and sidewalks and the like that have ice. So be careful because it will be slick overnight and into the morning hours. Even the coast, Astoria and Tillamook at and below freezing. So it's a cold one out there for sure. Here's Timberline right now. The lens is partially iced over, but if you like it cold, it's 15 degrees up, pardon me, up at Timberline Lodge right now. Getting so excited about the snow. Timberline, 25 inches since the storm began yesterday. Meadows, 20 inches. Ski Bowl, about 10 inches, and Bachelor also increasing their base. And the ski season gets back underway at Timberline and Meadows tomorrow. Ski Bowl, wait to see on that. But Bachelor on Wednesday, and Anthony Lakes in Northeast Oregon will open this weekend. We've got a winter storm watch for the new storm coming our way. Also a high wind watch on the Oregon coast. And while we may not get any snow in the valley, they will in the gorge. A lot of snow, heavy snow in Hood River. We'll talk about how much a little later. Laurel, back to you.
A lot to watch, a lot to talk about. Thank you, Matt. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, winter weather is creating some issues already in eastern Oregon tonight. This was the crash earlier today that closed I-84 from Pendleton to LeGrand. The interstate is back open now, but still slow going with heavy snow coming down at times. ODOT advises travelers to carry chains and be ready to use them. Police have identified the suspect accused of trying to rob a Portland sports bar, only to be taken down by the people inside and then pinned there until officers arrived. Police say the suspect is 43-year-old Daniel Mitchell. This happened at the B-Van Sports Bar on Northeast 109th and Sandy Boulevard just after midnight Saturday morning. Some business owners and managers have started keeping weapons behind the counter in case of thieves. Mitchell's been booked on robbery charges. And police are investigating after firefighters found a man dead inside a structure that burned in Northeast Portland. The fire happened last night near the Moda Center, just north of the Steel Bridge by the Willamette River. Firefighters discovered the body after putting out the flames. Police called the death suspicious. The homicide unit is investigating. For weeks, we've been telling you about the court crisis in Oregon. Criminal cases being dismissed, defendants waiting in jail, all because we don't have enough public defense attorneys. As Daisy Caballero reports, Oregon Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici has just introduced a bill in D.C. that could help tackle this issue.
We need more public defenders to have a functioning criminal justice system.
Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici has introduced the Ensuring Quality Access to Legal Defense Act, or Equal Defense Act for short. It would provide $250 million in federal grant money to be spread across the country. Oregon in particular has a massive shortage of court-appointed attorneys. We need 1,300 more.
I really want to make sure that our criminal justice system is working as it should. And right now, sadly, it's not. And we've seen that, particularly recently in Multnomah County, where cases had to be dismissed because with this right to counsel, they can't prosecute a case.
The American Bar Association found Oregon only has 31% of the public defenders it needs. If you can't get a lawyer, you can't have your case heard. So the shortage has led to Multnomah County judges dismissing nearly 300 criminal cases since February.
If we only had the public defense lawyers we currently have, it's virtually impossible to meet the needs.
There's no shortage of lawyers. They're just not choosing this type of work. Oregon's the only state in the nation that relies entirely on contractors like large nonprofit defense firms or small private defense attorneys that contract for cases. And many of them are not taking on new cases because of the workload and poor pay rates.
I started with a number of other attorneys, and I'm the only one still at this office from the people who started on the same day I did, because the work is so hard, because the work is underpaid, because the work is so much stress and vicarious trauma in a lot of ways.
If passed, this bill would limit workload for full-time public defenders and start closing the pay gap between them and prosecutors within the next 5 years. Public defenders are often right out of law school, so this bill would also provide an additional $5 million for training grants for government and nonprofit agencies. Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
And now to our homeless crisis. Portland City Council is expected to vote this week on how they will pay for the mayor's homeless plan. Back in early November, council approved the 5-part plan. To pay for it, Mayor Ted Wheeler is proposing several changes to the budget. Those include putting $4 million down to start building large camping sites, paying $750,000 for private security in the neighborhoods around those sites, and allocating more than $12 million to run the sites.
These allocations are a down payment on that work, and they demonstrate the city's commitment to clearing the path for accelerated production of affordable housing and better connecting homeless individuals to services, employment, and diversion programs.
Another big unanswered question is where these sites will be located. Council agrees they have to be dispersed throughout the city, near public transit, but somehow distanced from residential areas and schools. We don't have a date yet as to when the city will announce the locations. The vote on funding is expected on Wednesday. New tonight, did you notice the color of the Morrison Bridge? It was all lit up in orange to recognize a worldwide effort to eliminate violence against women. According to Zonta Clubs of Oregon and Washington, an international group to empower women, 35% of women worldwide have experienced some form of physical or sexual violence.
Domestic violence comes in all different forms. It's not just in the homes and domestic violence, but it's also in the workplace. It's also in child marriages and forced marriages. There are so many aspects to domestic violence that we really want to bring awareness to all the different avenues that it can take.
Other landmarks like Niagara Falls, the Eiffel Tower, and the Sydney Opera House were also lit up in orange tonight. The University of Oregon says it is, quote, gathering information about an incident from this weekend's Oregon State football game. In a video posted to social media, Oregon Ducks linebacker DJ Johnson is seen allegedly hitting an Oregon State Beavers fan. This was after the game when Beavers fans had rushed onto the field in Corvallis to celebrate their win. The Oregon Athletic Department said in a statement, "We are aware of a post-game exchange involving a member of our football team and a fan, and we're working to gather more information." Oregon State says it does not know who the fan is and hopes they're okay. No complaint has been filed at this point with the university's police department. Oregon State came back from being down 21 points to beat Oregon 38-34 on Saturday.